many of you have ever been confused by all the language of healthcare? And how many of you have ever had sticker shock or gone to the pharmacy and someone says, oh, that'll be $200 for a little bottle of music? And how many times you've gone and you've had a medical event and you simply didn't know where to begin? Because we've got so many doctors and so many treatment facilities, it's hard to even know where to start. Well, I know that too, because I had 7 operations in under 9 years that cost me well over $250,000. I ended up having to become a professional patient because I was in the system so often. And then I turned around and began helping others quite by accident, and it literally became a new career. Then it got so busy that I realized so many others need help, so now I'm going from doing advocacy to teaching advocacy. And what I've learned over the past 15 years is people simply don't know how to navigate the healthcare system. It's not like we can Google that. And we don't know where to begin. So that's why I put this company together to help solve this really big problem. We've got too many people needing care, too few doctors, it's only getting worse. And on top of that, now we're starting to get a lot of mistakes. There are 3.65 million people that are suffering serious consequences because our doctors aren't getting it right. My first surgery, I woke up to find out that my doctor didn't get it right, and I ended up having a second knee replacement because of it. So, what's the solution? I believe the only solution is to learn effective healthcare navigation. Look, we've got this myth that our doctors are going to fix us. Well, it's not their job to fix us. You have got to come alongside and work with them hand in hand to make that happen. Our 15-minute appointments are down to 7.9 minutes once you take away all of the paperwork. And on average, some people are doing 18 different doctors. Think about that. Almost every body part these days has our own doctor, and nobody is coordinating all of that care. So that's where we come in. We teach people how to take charge of their health care and live a better life. And how do we do that? We do that by breaking it down into smaller pieces and giving people a framework, a step-by-step method. Do this, then do this, then do this. We give them a way to organize their material. It's not just about your physical body. You've got to also be able to figure out how you're going to pay for it, how you're going to organize your medical records, how you're going to take care of the environment so that you can heal properly. You've got to have your legal documents in order. You have so many things coming at you, and when you have a medical event, your life just shuts down. So we're going to teach you one step at a time what to do and how to do it. And how are we going to do that? We're going to give you content in multiple forms, however you want to consume it. So if you want to read it, see it, listen to it, experience it live, go online, we're going to have it. We also have several products. We've got a medical organizer, and I've done some samples over here if you'd like to see afterwards, to organize all of your medical records. Yes, it will be online. Yes, it will be also available as a binder that you can carry with you. However you want to do it, you've got to make this a process manageable for you. We'll also have an iPhone app. And the goal is to get it so you can organize all of your own material as well as being able to communicate with your care providers and your doctors. We also have a go bag to make your medical experiences more pleasurable and tolerable. And our go-to-market strategy is 3 directions: employee assistance programs, direct-to-consumers, and affiliates. Our 3-year assumptions, these are on the very, very low end. We feel that we'll start in the first year of medical organizers of 10,000. By year 3, we'll be up to 100,000. Same thing with the organizer and training programs. We'll start with 1,000, and we believe comfortably we can get to 10,000. Also, our revenue models, by year 3, we should be at $5 million with a profit of $3.2 million. Our team, I am so blessed. I have so many people behind me trying to help me get to launch and also to create great content. And with that, I've got the IT capabilities, the financial capabilities, and most importantly, I have a brother that's a physician's assistant, so he's able to help me to get to the content and what I need. So I'm very blessed to have everyone that's helping me because, no man is an island. I couldn't possibly do it by myself. And finally, I like to teach my customers, most importantly, that life is the sum of the choices you make. So it's important to plan carefully, prepare properly, and live a better life. So our training programs are going to teach you how to pick a doctor, how to get the best insurance, how to find your errors on your medical bills, how to lower those, how to negotiate with a hospital, and how to go down from there in order to drive your costs down. So it's important for us to have the different things, and we believe that you need to invest the time now, because it's not a matter of if, but when. Every single one of us is going to have a medical event, and also we have aging population. Many of us have parents that we're taking care of. And if you're trying to hold down a full-time job and you're suddenly thrust into that caregiver position, it gets ugly real quick. So we're looking to try to teach you now so that you can teach others. And that's it. Thank you for your time. Any questions? Danielle.
Okay, mine is probably more of a statement than a question. And this is just because, I've seen you present multiple times, and, it's 5.5 minutes here. But I just have to tell you, for Bonnie, she really wants to share and be passionate about everything. So 5.5 minutes is awesome. So
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's hard. I can talk for 5 hours. But
So you organize a class, people will pay to come to that and learn?
I will have live events, but yes, I'll also do it online. So DVDs and online events as well. And then we'll break it into chewable chunks. So we might have one individual topic that says how to pick the best insurance plan. And then the next topic might be how to check your explanation of benefits to make sure it's right. Or have gone to the hospital, let me show you how to negotiate a lower bill. And then that will all build. But we will start with, please understand your insurance. You should at the very least know what is your annual deductible, what is your out-of-pocket cost, and you need to know the difference between the language that's coming at you. Because when you go to your doctor, the doctor needs to give you a prescription for what's wrong, but your doctor has no way to know what is going to be covered. They can't even look that up. That's up to you. And if you don't know that, when you get to the pharmacy, you're going to have that $200 prescription, and then you're going to say, I've got to pay my mortgage, $200, sorry, I'm going to go with that. And then when you go with that, then that just escalates and you end up having medical events that are catastrophic because you weren't able to afford the pharmacy prescriptions.
So, I love this. I think you have hit a clearly defined problem. You have a solution to it. My one thing is, I just have a hard time envisioning people taking the time before they're sick or before they need this to learn about this, to spend the time to do this research. Is there some version of this where when they are sick they can call you and get that coaching or
well,
whatever?
We will have, yes,
on
we will
demand?
have the coaching programs. We'll have it in 3 levels. One will be a picture where we're simply providing information. The second will be a format where there's 2-way questions and answers, and the third will be one-on-one for that. But the answer, to go back for a second, the majority of people who come to us have been in my position where something's happened and they've gotten sideswiped by their medical event, and they don't ever want to go through that or feel as helpless as they have before.
That's fair.
You had a question?
Oh, yeah. You talk about website apps and stuff. You guys have a website where you're building this content now? Or is that a future thing?
We have a website. This is Bethany, who's my website goddess, and she's also helping me to do an online app as well. So we recognize that many people don't want the inconvenience of carrying around a binder. I get that. It's cumbersome. I'm old school. I want a binder. But some people want it on their phone, their iPad, or whatever. So we recognize we've got to make the system portable and easy to engage. And so we're going to have downloadable forms that you can actually come into our website and then you see, and then if you, God forbid, you have to go to the hospital or emergency room and you don't have your information, they will seek the information and pull it in from that.
As a distribution method, I was just going to add, it might be interesting to put some of your content on other platforms just to generate leads. So maybe have like a Outlander.com that goes through a specific tutorial or some kind of learning type website where they're already optimized on the web. So when I search, I don't understand what this is, it pops up and that can help you generate more leads to your website.
Okay.
Get the other content.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Great presentation, by the way. So kind of piggybacking on what you said, who's your target market specifically? And in addition to like those digital things, are you doing any like more traditional marketing, like trade shows, things like that?
Some baby boomers are our market. We have another business that we're helping veterans get in-home care through their aid and attendance benefits. So we're already working with home care agencies that are interested for their clients. So we kind of have a natural affiliate with that. I also have some promo partners already set up. So I think it's one of those, I'm going to start with the orders that I have and just grow into it so as we can do it. Good idea. Thanks.
Why
Why shouldn't this be marketed by insurance companies through employee benefits?
I think it should, but
But
it's really important for me to walk before I run. I need to test this out and make sure all systems are go before I go that big, because it just gotta work. But you're absolutely right. I think the biggest bang for the buck is starting with the employers and the insurance companies and working our way down. It really is a two-way street. We individuals have to work to get our healthcare costs down so that our premiums are less. And we say, oh, who cares? I only have this kind of deductible. Well, you should care in the end, because if you don't, the bottom line is we're consuming too much and all of our prices will go up. So I agree with you. We totally need to go that direction.
Just to piggyback on that, Honeywell, locally, when my late husband got sick and went in for surgery, immediately they sent overnight a packet of information for the whole family and something like that.
Yeah, I
Would
agree.
be in line with what big companies do like that.
I think if nothing else, the medical organizer I have in that system, if you absolutely did nothing else, but you got one of those and began to use that, it would change your life. I honestly believe that, and that's what's driving it. It was, it's funny because it's something I did for all of my clients for the past 15 years, and people kept asking, where'd you get that? Where'd you get that? I just made it up. But it's something, it's the system, and it's not so much the information, it's how you use that information on an ongoing basis that's going to change the relationship you have with the doctors. And every single doctor I have, time and time again, says to me, God, I wish every patient would have this. And so, yeah, I think we're going to work from both directions, top down and bottom up.
And to piggyback, might be going for a record here. And you just mentioned it as well. It seems like something that, if I as a physician, particularly just a family practice or a GP, I would want my patients to have this. Have you approached any of the?
All of my doctors are standing ready for this. As a matter of fact, my knee doctor who's over in Tampa is the chief of orthopedics at Tampa General. He wants me to talk to his EMR system, and he wants every patient to have one. So, yeah, every single one of them is ready. I just
First of all, good luck with the
get it
EMR
going.
system.
Well,
Having spent 2 years in that, but yeah, have you approached any of the large physician practices? Like
not yet, just
JSA,
individuals.
those
I
that-
pretty much kept this under wraps because I'm just not ready. Literally, coming in the door and I just don't have product ready to go out. So I'm doing my best to try to stay focused because I do chase butterflies really well. So,
Can you go back to your chart with the units sold and just talk a little bit about how you, it's not clear to me, is this through, or are you gonna hold these training sessions, or is it kind of a franchise model where you train trainers who then go out and train?
no, the primary is online. And so working with the network we have with the home care agencies that we have, and then branching out from there. And I have promotional partners that are already in place that I'm hoping that they want to use this to help their current audiences. So I have somebody working with cancer patients. I have somebody working with detox. I have somebody working with nausea. I have just different people that are out there already doing it. So all access and kind of piggyback on the efforts they're doing.
And are the revenue assumptions so far, is the business model so far strictly selling binders, or what are the sources of revenue?
Okay, so we have, the primary driver is the medical organizer, right? The medical organizer is the system that you would use to do this. This will be a physical piece. It will also be a piece that you can do online. So there will be the revenue from that. Then we have our Go Bag, which is a bag that has a pillow and a blanket for those cold emergency rooms and the treatment centers, something to organize your information, a small little cooler to take your snacks with. So this is at the ready, always in your car and ready to go. And then we have the training programs, which will be live events, DVDs, and also online events. They will start small, individually, $47 a piece, and then they will be bundled, $249, $497, $997, depending upon how you grow. And then not only am I starting with medical advocacy, but I'm a certified Medicaid planner, so after I do that, Medicaid planning comes next, because I don't know if any of you know, but most people that end up in long-term care plan end up losing their life savings, because it could cost you many hundreds of thousands of dollars. If you do proper Medicaid planning, you can save as much and pass it on down the line. So that's important. And then we also have family caregiving that'll be coming after that and affordable aging.
Excellent presentation. I think that anybody who's thinking of presenting or watching, definitely pay attention to how this was laid out, because it got everybody hooked on, yes, I agree, that's a problem. Yes, I agree, that's a really big problem. I see your experience. I see what you're trying to do in the 5.5 minutes. And I don't compliment a lot on format, so that was very great.
Well, I've had good mentors, so thank you, Danielle.
So speaking of like that last 30 seconds and just like a little bit of a tweak, and I think this comes back to Gene's question a little bit too. I realize that some presentations you need some financials and growth and all that, but in others, like for this one, I'd kind of dump that and then spend a solid minute on this is how I'm going to get this thing out there. Because I feel like that was the one piece that was kind of missing. It's like,
Okay.
and also thanks for bringing your actual product with you. So many people don't bring what they're selling. So lots of really good things in there. Outside of the format of the presentation, my thought is, and I love the binder because I think everything's so digital now. It's just cluttered and you lose track of everything. But this feels to me more like something where you link up with somebody who is a book publisher and does speaking tours for authors, because I see this more of a, you get this organizer like formally published, and instead of, I'm guessing you're photocopying and putting these together manually and getting them together.
Actually, we're talking to Amazon about distributing this, and it's going to be a product that you can actually purchase online. So
Right. So that's awesome. So like getting through Amazon's part of it, but I think the other part is there are people out there very experienced who will say like, hey, I'm going to set you up with a speaking, gig in like the villages in Florida where it's like a perfect target market. Get a seminar room full of 200 people from there. Make it either a free seminar, but at the end you can buy it, or everybody gets a free go bag, but if you want to spend $100 on it, then have the Amazon queued up and ready so that when everybody at that seminar attends, they share with their friends on social media, they can pick it up. You're obviously the expert in the content domain of all this and understand how to navigate that. And people who are putting out, or publishers and setting up seminars, are hungry for content, especially in this area. I kind of, my gut says spending less time on online stuff and more time on, okay, who's really the perfect match on that team if you don't have somebody already who has got other people like you into that kind of network, and is just looking to replicate that.
The audience. I totally agree with you. And that's even why it comes down to employee assistance programs as well. They already have thousands of employees that desperately need this.
They do, but are they routinely bringing in people at your stage doing things like you're doing and making them successful and
before I even did this, I was approached by Raymond James to go big and do it with them, and I couldn't figure out the platform. So now that I'm there, I don't think it's going to be that difficult, because I've been turning down requests for that.
But not to harp on this, but yes, I see it's awesome that there's a huge demand. But who are the people who love the idea to hear that there's a huge demand and you have content, and they help you work those deals, scale it so that you can focus on your expertise of creating great content.
I totally agree.
So I don't. I agree more with what you're saying. Employee assistance programs strike me as the market for this. Maybe I'm not a baby boomer, so perhaps it's just the way I think. But getting, if somebody has gone through one major medical instance and this comes to them afterwards, maybe that is the villages, something like that. Okay, I get it. But I really think the bigger market is having this out there almost as a just-in-time thing. When I work at Raymond James and my wife is sick or I'm sick or something like that, and Raymond James has this that they can give me, as Danielle mentioned about Honeywell and things like that. That seems like a much bigger market.
Yeah. Well, and even though the employee assistance was the bigger of the markets, it may not be as easy to get into, but because on the individual side is where I've been, but it certainly is very large.
It's harder to get into initially, I suppose, but to Chris's point about bringing somebody under your team that has major HR experience at a company, you have a much smaller, you don't have to go on a road show to the villages and do this and that. If you can have a salesperson who can sit down with the HR department at Raymond James or Jacob or whoever.
Okay,
Ronnie, I'm a partner of a company called KRSync, which KRSync is based in Wesley Chapel. And that company provides a service called chronic care management for patients that are relatively older seniors and so on. Now, they have this a problem called CPT code 99490. All that is right code. But anyway, I've done extensive research on this, and if you'd be interested, that might be a revenue option. We're looking at, those kinds of companies have sales teams, they have a whole lot more infrastructure. And other
can we
stuff.
talk afterwards?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
My impression of the American healthcare system is that it's highly fragmented. And you go state to state, insurance company to insurance company, hospital to hospital, doctor to doctor, et cetera. It seems to me that kind of one size fits all might be problematic. If I live in Arizona, the system works a certain way. If I live in New York, it works another way. I mean, how do you go about making sure that the information, I mean, essentially what you're providing is the information for people to navigate this system. How do you make sure that it's actually relevant, accurate?
I teach you the steps to go get the information, but you have to go get the information and make it accurate and work for you. So all I can do is lead you and show you the path, but you're absolutely right. And not only that, not only state specific, but I recently had some dental work and I ended up getting a blood infection. This is not even a month ago. And I ended up in the hospital. And my knee doctor, so what happened is I had a cramp and it infected my blood and it attacked my knees and it was going to reject my knee replacements. And I went to the hospital at St. Anthony's and they said, well, your doctor's in Tampa, sorry, he doesn't have privileges here. So it's not even the state, it's like one doctor couldn't even cross the bridge to take care of it. So you have to know where your doctors go. It's not, I knew that he was in Tampa, but I never stopped to think about, probably I had a knee problem. I probably should have chosen St. Anthony's. I needed to go to Tampa General. So I need to teach you the navigation of how you can best do that. And the best I can do is give you the tools you need to find out
This is
yourself.
a pretty high level, teach the person to catch the fish instead of giving.
Yes, exactly. I mean, if I can teach you to catch the fish, you'll feed your family for a lifetime, and that's what it's all about. And it's not easy. I'm not going to pretend that it's easy. This took me years and years to learn. But I figured out how to do it and break it down into chewable chunks, and I'll teach you the chewable chunks. And we'll walk before we run together, and that's the best I can do with it.
So, this is fantastic. And I had personal experience with this in my family, with all the information organized and having this and all that. Three questions. Number one, price points. We're talking about packages of $299, $499, $1,000.
Yeah. Affordability. The
So
first
let's
one's
talk
$47.
affordability. Right,
So
okay.
for like the price of a copay, many of us go to a specialist, it's $50. I feel for $50 you can learn one topic.
Totally agree.
And you'll take it as you can do it.
Totally agree. But are you planning on most of your revenue coming from that, or most of your revenue coming from what happens as well?
I think that when we get to, I think the larger audience will be the employee assistance programs, and I think that they will buy into the medical organizer and go back and the training. And so that will put me into the 250 to 500 range comfortably. I just think that it'll be a little bit of a higher price. And if they add coaching to that, that would go up from there as well.
Second question is this, we're talking about the boomers, right?
Baby boomers, yeah.
Well, baby boomers, aging out,
Yeah.
a lot of medical.
They're starting to have medical issues
So-
and their parents.
No, I agree. So my question is this, have you thought about using infomercial hospitals?
No.
Because that generation watches and they will buy anything that comes to them at 2 in the morning. Right? And they have the trust. I really truly think that if you had a small infomercial spot that was running at 11 at night, you could sell them both.
We have talked to home shopping networks that have the American Dreams program, and they're interested in the medical organizer. So it's possible that it does end up on TV.
I really think that would be a huge market for us.
Okay, all right, cool.
And the third thing is, we mentioned baby boomers are the target market, but also the people who are caring for them.
Yeah,
Right?
great.
So even the people in later stage life, like my grandfather was 92. So my mom and my aunt and uncle who are in their 60s are caring for him now. They would love something like this. So pitching to the children of the generation that's experiencing the problem is also like an asset market. What do you think about that?
No, I don't disagree with you. It's, yeah. In my opinion, everybody needs this. Is anybody here that doesn't go to a doctor? If you go to a doctor, you need this. You don't go, okay, so you're very lucky and train your parents because you don't need this. But it's coming. At some point in your life, it's going to come, and you're going to decide to swim. Good reminder.
At what point is your
Whiskey's
responsibility? Right now, you're just showing a path. Are you also doing any advocacy? Are you speaking on behalf of patients to the system? Or are you going to get people
I am
resources?
trying not to do that, and trust me, I'm still doing it for friends and family, but as in a professional capacity, I have stopped. At least I'm trying to stop.
Okay.
But yes, so I know I'm not going to go with you to the doctors any longer. I just don't have the hours.
Okay, there's a lot of liability there, I would assume as well. And the second question is, are you thinking of the next step right now? You're already being moved, or are you going to be getting into Medicare and Social Security?
Medicaid planning is what I want to do next, because I feel like that's just part of something interesting. After that will be affordable aging, like how do you choose the options of where to live, and after that will be family caregiving. And then after that, we'll see, what should be the 5-year mark by then, so. Okay?
I don't know how far you've gone along on the technology. So I'll talk to your
Yeah.
guys.
And tablets, my business partner as well.
Okay. But there's a local company called Doctolog, DOCO.LA, that does sort of medical training for their patients. So physicians group will actually subscribe to their platform and provide a platform on which to create that information. And then finally talk to me because I also have a platform.
Awesome. And one of the things I personally would like to do, and it's going to take some time to get there, I would like to get this to become a certified program. I believe that everybody that is an advocate, first we need more advocates, and second, I think everybody needs a basis with which to begin their advocacy. Thank you for being patient, Danielle.
Oh, Chris has a question for you.
Final question. So I have my own question here. Excellent presentation. Thank you very much. What can we as a 1 Million Cups St. Pete community do to help grow your business?
I'm hoping to launch within the next 60 to 90 days, so I'm ready. I'm ready for the floodgates to open and the orders to begin coming in. So I'm receptive to speaking to companies that have employees assistance programs, individuals that need this. So anybody that's ready, you feel is a proper fit. I have an email, a sign-up sheet here. The other thing is on my website, I actually have a free ebook already, which outlines the 8 ways to wellness. And the one thing that I tell everybody to do is to do a medical summary report. So if you have anybody that's interested, that's a great place to go. If you sign up for the email program today, I will go ahead and actually make sure that you get that directly. And if anybody has any questions, they can just contact